Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants, a fantastic, beautiful new book, D&D canon hardback. That thing is there. It is shining. It is really stunning, and just a massive celebration of everything that Hasbro has ever done to push Dungeons & Dragons forward and make sure that it is an epic, ever-standing champion of the tabletop role-playing game scene, right? And what I want to talk about today is Bigby himself. So I got my digital copy. I'm reading through my digital copy right now. Oh man, it is good. I've done my initial sweep. It's just beautiful. There's so much in it. And my initial sweep kind of gave me the shape of the product, and now I'm digging in and reading the specifics on it. And I was reading Bigby's words himself, and he explains who he is. And so, who is Bigby? Bigby is the apprentice to Manganiello, right? So I'm looking through the book, and I'm like, okay, now I understand who Bigby is. He's a wizard. He's been in, and now I knew from before that Bigby had been in since literally first edition of Dungeons & Dragons. But who is Bigby now? Like, what is the Hasbro Bigby, right? And it's going to have elements of the old, but it's also going to be refreshed and new, right? And that's the great thing about Dungeons & Dragons. You don't have to blow dust off your books every time you want to play it. You can own the old books and get inspiration from them, and you can run the new books and actually get players, right? Rather than trying to beg people to read books that are literally have dust on them, are all black and white, have terrible layout, and frankly don't have the powerful writing we have today, right? We don't have to stay with the old. We can celebrate the old and use it in the new, right? I think that's the best Dungeons & Dragons, right? So Bigby, what is Bigby now, right? So first of all, what was Bigby? So first of all, Bigby now is a wizard, right? And he is a gnome, and he is a gnome of color, which is okay. Now, does that match what he was in 1E? If you look back, he was originally presented as a human, right? So his species has changed, right? He was also originally presented as not a person of color, right? So when he was a human, he was not a person of color, right? And now he is a gnome and a gnome of color, right? And why is this? Well, for several reasons. One, right? Let's just count them off, right? Elminster, Volo, Bigby, Manganiello, all people who are not people of color and are all human, right? It's a ward cleaver, right? We have a bunch of ward cleavers up in Dungeons & Dragons, right? So I think what they're saying, hey, let's celebrate every species in Dungeons & Dragons, and let's celebrate, let's celebrate people, gnomes of color, and let's celebrate humans who are not of color, right? Let's do both, and that's exactly what they're doing. So Bigby's species is changed, and Bigby's is now a gnome of color. That's new, right? So both of those are new and are a change. I fully support those changes. I think it's very smart. And also, why is that important? Well, again, right? You could try to run D&D 1E, 2E, 3E, 4E, but immediately people are like, you're probably pretty regressive and not connected to modernity or anything exciting or new. I don't really want to be at your table. And this is why 5E is so massively popular. They're like, oh, if I play in your game, when a brand new book drops on the shelf, I don't have to sneak a look at it and pretend my dungeon master won't ever put that into their game, right? And so it's progressive, and it's new, and it's fresh, and it's exciting, right? So I really love the fantastic annotations of the book. This has become a pattern, right? This is a new pattern that makes Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition better than any of its previous editions, right? This idea of characters coming in and actually annotating actual rule books. It was done in previous editions, but not to this level, not with this much color, not with an entire different writer coming in to add notes. And it's really very genuine. And I also think it's coming from the edit. I think the editors are reading it and then adding these notes in. And so it's giving even more value to the editing layer. I could not be more thrilled with what I am thoroughly enjoying through Bigby's Glory of the Giants. It is an absolute, no pun intended, game changer. I think this is a huge book, and it's really establishing new things for Dungeons & Dragons. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.